If you don't understand entrepreneurship, if you can't figure out how a small business works, you're hopeless to ever be a good investor. And take those words very seriously and very literally. If you can't understand the mechanics of a small business, if you can't run a convenience store or a moderately successful online shop of some kind, or a property management company, if you can't run a small business, how the hell would you ever operate a large global company? Or how would you understand the operations of a large global company enough to know if it's a good investment or not? If you don't have $1 million yet, you're living a much lesser life than what could be easily available to you with the right guidance. My head coach has freed up a few spots in his calendar to hold one-on-one strategy calls with the highest quality applicants. If you're doing well already and you're looking to accelerate your momentum and do even better, click the link in the description now and apply for your strategy session. More at the end of this video. But I see Tushar says, "Hey Derek, I'm glad to hear Andre has decided to spare your elbow." That's very thoughtful. Thank you. Andre is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Are you already or not? Not yet?
No, not yet. I would love to be.
You will be.
Be in the Hall of Fame and still fighting. Would be great, no?
Yeah.
Definitely first one.
Yeah, I think only a couple of people had that. So Andre will be in the Hall of Fame later. So thoughtful of him that there was enough of a trophy and he didn't need my elbow too. Thoughtful of him to spare your elbow, at least for the time being. I just left university and got a job as a salesman to gain those important entrepreneurial skills. Going door to door in the middle of winter may not sound desirable to some, but it sounds like money to me. Well, that's more of a comment than a question, but I accept. And, a lot of things maybe don't sound desirable, but they make you tougher and they make you better. And you get great rewards later, You get great rewards later. So don't be afraid to do difficult things or uncomfortable things. Good for you. Sydney says, "Hi, Derek and Andre. Thank you for your time. My question is on learning difficult skill sets simultaneously. How much time would you recommend spending learning about investing daily when your primary focus is on building a business?" Well, the good news about what you just said is these are highly correlated things. All right. So if you want to build a business, the things that you're learning in this course about entrepreneurship are going to help you as an investor. And if you don't understand entrepreneurship, if you can't figure out how a small business works, you're hopeless to ever be a good investor. And take those words very seriously and very literally. If you can't understand the mechanics of a small business, if you can't run a convenience store or a moderately successful online shop of some kind, or a property management company, if you can't run a small business, how the hell would you ever operate a large global company? Or how would you understand the operations of a large global company enough to know if it's a good investment or not? All right, so some of the companies I own, say Energy Transfer, is something like a $60 billion company. $60 billion. You think they got to that level of? It's not a simple business. They got 117,000 miles of pipelines, and they have all these other storage facilities and all the political things they have to deal with to build the pipelines and maintain the pipelines and crazy political shit. And if that company doesn't exist, people die because they can't heat their home in the winter. They have no electricity. So if that company and that infrastructure didn't exist, people would have no electricity in many parts of the country, and they would die. Their children would freeze in the winter, literally. So that's only 60 billion. These biggest companies now are about $3 trillion. So you're going to understand a $3 trillion business, but you can't understand a business that makes you $1 million a year? How the fuck would that happen? So what I'm saying is good, that these are correlated things. These are very highly correlated. And if you're getting good at one, you're getting good at the other as well. That they're not two separate things like, going to law school and learning violin. Those are different, These are the same damn thing. You're just looking at the same thing from a different perspective. So do both. Do both. And in the business world, if you want to make any serious money, you have to understand how a small business works. You have to. You can't be a good investor without that. Right? You have to be a good investor because that's where the biggest fucking money in the world moves around. And you have to understand real estate too, because real estate, if you don't understand the consumers and what a consumer is dealing with, Well, consumers support businesses. And if you don't understand what's happening in housing and what's happening in real estate prices in general, then you don't know what businesses are paying for commercial real estate. You don't know the state of the consumer and how much of their income is going to a mortgage and other housing expenses. And you can't be a good investor again. You have to understand real estate. You have to understand entrepreneurship. And you can't be a good investor without understanding those two things. The three of them go together. So it'd be like you're an MMA fighter, but you're like, I don't want to. I'm only going to work on boxing. Not going to use my legs. No grappling. I'm just going to work on boxing only. Is that how you got your UFC belt?
Pretty much. But before that thoughts came to my head. I spent a lot of time, equally amount of time between boxing, grappling, and wrestling, and strength conditioning. So you're absolutely right. And actually, it's like after a while, I understood that because before I thought like for every discipline, I'm supposed to have one coach.
Mm-hmm.
Boxing coach, box. But after a while, when I started working out with Greg Jackson and Michael Brown, like MMA coaches, so I have to understand the model of the MMA. Not just, of course, it's like many disciplines helps you to get better, but yeah, you have to spend equal time. Yeah, we're not like when it's UFC starts in 1993, who won only like grapplers and jiu-jitsu guys can like beat. Now like everybody can wrestle, grapple, and box.
You have to. If you don't understand those things and how they're linked together, you're not going to be successful in his inner area. If you don't understand how those things are linked together of entrepreneurship, stock market, and real estate, then just be poor. Just accept. If you don't want to learn those three things, just accept. You know what? I'm just going to be poor. I'm going to have a used car. Stay very poor. Maybe a small house. Just accept that. If you want to be dumb, you want to be lazy, it's okay. A lot of people choose that path, but just accept. Small house, raising someone else's children.
Not your kids.
Not your kids. Not your kids. They might call you daddy, but they're not your kids. Because if your wife, if you didn't hold yourself to a standard that was respectable, if you didn't like yourself and respect yourself enough to make that effort to earn your place in the world, why would a high quality woman choose to be with a guy like that? If you're settling for a low place, she's settling for a guy who's settling for a low place. So she doesn't have any standards either. She don't have any standards either. What do you think she's going to do? It's going to be terrible. I don't even want to talk about it. It's going to be disgusting.
You watch this video all the way through, and that tells me you're dedicated to learning more and earning far above average outcomes in your life. Congratulations for that. But now it's time to take action. If you could have earned those results by yourself, you would have done it already. My head coach has opened up a few spots on his high-demand calendar for an in-person, one-on-one strategy session to help you. On this call, we'll give you the pragmatic advice that you can implement tonight to get laser-focused on the right metrics and leave mediocrity far behind in your past. Click that link right now in the description below and apply for your call immediately. Do it now.